Algebra 1, Lesson 3.1, Writing Equations. Before we begin, we need to discuss all of the words we can use in a verbal expression or verbal equation to represent an equal sign. All the words in blue that you see are such words. We can use the word is, equals, is equal to, is the same as much as, or is identical to. And again, those all represent the equal sign in an algebraic expression. Our first couple of examples give us verbal expressions. In other words, here they're equations, and we need to write them as an algebraic equation. We've done this before. We actually did it way back when in chapter 1. So begin number 1. A number b divided by 3 is equal to 6 less than c. That's one way of writing this. Another way would be to write, instead of b divided with a division symbol, we can use the division bar. B divided by 3 equals 6 less than c. Both are correct. Number 2, 15 more than d times 6 is y times 2 minus 11. Let's begin. 15 more than d times 6. We typically would write our constant number here, 6. We would write the 6 first and then the variable. Is, same here, y times 2 minus 11. Number 3. The perimeter of a square equals 4 times the length of the side. Let's use P for the perimeter of a square equals 4 times the length of a side. Let's use the variable S for that length of the side. P equals 4 times S. Now that's one of the topics covered in this beginning lesson in chapter 3. The next topic is a 4-step plan for solving problems. When we come to any word problems, these are the typical steps we should take in working that problem out. The first step is to explore, meaning read the problem. And sometimes that means reread the problem. And sometimes that means read it again for the 3rd time and read it again for the 4th time out loud. It's okay to do that. Step 2 is to plan. So let's think about, what do I need to do here? Number 3 is actually solving it. And lastly, number 4, examine. Think about your answer. Does your answer make sense? Let's try that 4-step plan here in problem number 4. A popular jelly bean manufacturer produces 1,250,000 jelly beans per hour. How many hours does it take them to produce 10 million jelly beans? So, we've done step 1. We've explored. Now step 2, let's come up with a plan. Thinking about the problem, they make 1,250,000 jelly beans an hour. And we've got to figure out how long it's going to take to make 10 million. So, my plan is, it's going to take my 1,250,000 jelly beans that they make per hour, multiply it by something, some H number, for the number of hours that it's going to take to make 10 million jelly beans. So in my plan, I wrote out an equation. Step 3 is to solve it. This is really kind of a mental math problem, thinking about, what do I need to do here to solve that for H, to figure out how many hours it's going to take to make those jelly beans. Would you multiply those two numbers? Would you divide those two numbers? Add, subtract? We should divide. 10 million divided by 1,250,000. That comes down to 8 hours. It should take 8 hours for this company to make 10 million jelly beans. So we've done step 3, we've solved this. Step 4 is to examine. Does it make sense that it will take 8 hours? If you had 80 hours instead of 8, would it make sense if it took 80 hours? Well, to double check it, to examine it, we could do 1,250,000 times 8 hours to see if it actually does equal 10 million jelly beans. And it does. If you will turn your notes over to the next page or the other side, we continue on with examples 5, 6, and 7. The first 2 examples on the back side ask you to write a verbal equation for the following algebraic equations. If you remember again from chapter 1, this just means to write it out in words. So if I read the problem number 5 to you, I've basically given you the answer. We begin by writing out all words for every number and every operation. You can keep it simple or get as fancy as you like. Be careful here, because it would be incorrect to say 12 minus 2x. We must indicate the operation between the 2 and the x. 12 minus 2 times x. You can use any word you'd like for the equals or is. And again, just to reiterate, everything is spelled out with a word. We don't use a negative sign, we spell out the word negative. 12 minus 2 times x is negative 5. It's really easy. Number 6, a squared. You may also say a number squared or a number to the second power. I'll stick with a squared plus 3 times b is equal to, please don't say c over 6, because that does not mean a fraction in this case, is equal to c divided by 6. And lastly, the very last topic in our very first set of notes for Chapter 3 is a doozy. We're asked to write a problem based on the following information. We're not asked to solve the problem, just to create a problem. So I'm going to use different colors to write these statements. What it comes down to is for each one of these statements, I should have a verbal expression. So I'm going to use my colors, and then I'm going to rearrange it, put it all in the right order. They tell me, first of all, F is going to stand for the cost of fries. Then F plus $1.50 equals the cost of a burger. Then 4 times the quantity, F plus $1.50 minus F equals $8.25. So from the first statement, I can write out the question. What is the cost of fries? From the second statement, I'll just simply write a verbal expression, except for I will not write F plus $1.50, because F stands for something. F stands for the cost of fries. So we'll say the cost of fries plus $1.50 is the cost of a burger. And then my last statement. we begin by saying 4 times, and here I will not say 4 times the quantity, f plus $1.50, because this quantity, f plus $1.50, actually stands for the cost of a burger. So 4 times the cost of a burger minus, and again here I'm not going to say f, minus f, because f stands for the cost of fries, minus the cost of fries is $8.25. So now I have a statement, a verbal statement for each of these algebraic expressions. The only thing I need to do is to put this all in the right order. Typically, in a word problem, the question is not asked first. The question is asked last. So this problem would be the cost of fries plus $1.50 is the cost of a burger. 4 times the cost of a burger minus the cost of fries is $8.25. What is the cost of fries? We're done. The beauty of this problem is that we're simply asked to write a problem. We are not asked in this section to solve it. So we just wrote out our problem. Maybe we should do that for bonus. Something to consider. Anywho, this has been lesson 3.1, writing equations. I hope you've enjoyed.